okay with the pan and soca. It's fun till you're sober. Everybody jam and coming down. The whole country jamming down to the sweetest plan. It's the sweetest plan. Face to play, face to play. The notes and break away. You're ready to play with the big boys. Time to block out all the noise. Time to jam on the big stage. Put whiskers on display. Yeah. It's either you come hard or you go. It's on the iron, and cause a bacchanal. It's not so be with the pan and soca. It's fun till you're sober. Everybody jam and coming down. The whole country jamming down to the sweetest plan. It's the sweetest plan. Face to play, face to play. The notes can break away. Hey.
9 WEFM.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so the time here in SVG, it is 8:36, and we are back with you for another segment of our Activated Mornings program here on WEFM. In studio, it is Dianna Cain and myself, Roleza Samuel, your hostesses every weekday, 6 to 10. All right. All right, so we are going to go into very quickly and for a very brief time. We are going to be discussing International Women's Day, which is celebrated every year on the 8th of March, which is tomorrow. All right. And the theme for this year's International Women's Day is Accelerate Action. And this calls for rapid advancement in gender equality. It focuses on recognizing strategies and tools that drive women's progress in education, employment, and in leadership. All right, so that is what we are going to be talking about just from the vantage point as women in terms of this particular theme and in recognizing and in celebrating the day. All right, so P. John did touch on a few things this morning that he saw as some challenges that still exist for women. And while we have been making strides, we know that it is still not a very perfect world. All right. So I would probably just list out a few of the things that I still view as a few challenges here in SVG, right? From the vantage point of living here in SVG. All right. So I'll probably only list 4, right? One of my things is I think men sometimes still feel challenged by women. Right. I think that men sometimes feel challenged by the progress some women have made in their lives. I think that they feel as though maybe demasculated in a sense, because there are still some men who are of the opinion that you get into a certain level or certain goals or achieving certain goals in life that somehow you are above them. Now, a woman may not have said anything at all. She may not display any sort of signs in terms of saying that, quote unquote, I am better than you. But I think that there are some men who, when you look at the accomplishments of some women, that they somehow still feel threatened by women.
True.
Right? True. Another challenge that I face or I've noted for women here in SVG is this gender role that still exists, right? In terms of, yes, of course, everybody's want to go back to the Bible, but this whole stereotypical role of these are assigned traditional duties of a woman and not accepting that women have made strides in the workplace in particular. So you're no longer coming home to a woman who is just placed inside of the house, who is just residing with inside of the house, right? Who is just doing domestic duties. There are women who also work. You and your husband are coming home at the same time. You cannot necessarily expect that the traditional roles that have applied to women, maybe in the past, that they should still exist, right? So for me, it's really and truly should be shared responsibility. Another thing that I note, you want us to go back and forth?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Okay. Another thing that I note is the commonplace thought that it's okay to throw a sexual talk your way. right? I don't know if men think that it's flattering. It's not flattering, right? There are ways that you can tell a woman that she's attractive. There are ways that you can let a woman know that she's beautiful without it sounding sexual, right? We also don't appreciate advances towards us um, in terms of wanting to get to know us and that kind of thing. I mean, if a woman is interested, she would let you know. But the persistent trying to get our attention and making sexual innuendos, it just annoys the hell
Correct.
out of us. The hell
Correct.
out of us. All right. Another thing too is that I think that while it is that we have also been making strides educationally, we are not necessarily seeing a lot of women taking top positions within many of the workplaces, right? While it is that there might still be a greater employment in terms of from there being women employed within the workforce, we're still not necessarily seeing many of them being managers or business owners. And I think even in that case, I'm not sure what exactly is the challenge. Is it a case where women still have to break through this glass ceiling that exists? Or is it that we have to prove ourselves a lot more, right? And it shouldn't be that way. If we have demonstrated the ability, if we have demonstrated the knowledge, then it shouldn't be that difficult for us to be taken seriously in managerial roles and positions and to be the I don't want to use the word bosses because I find bosses have a certain negative connotation, but to be the leaders within these organizations. All right. So those are my top 4 thoughts as I view it as being a woman here in SVG.
All right. So some of Roleza's top thoughts are also mine, are also my top thoughts. But one of my biggest issues is the gender roles, as was mentioned, and the way that we are treated, the violence against women. And in some cases, people want to justify that. I obviously we don't like that. We don't want for that to continue. And then there is the issue of in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to be specific, because this is where I live, the fact that there doesn't seem to be anything in place for us if we are in a very dangerous situation. We're basically left to fend for ourselves because there isn't exactly somewhere that you can go. If you are in a particular situation, you have to find a relative to stay by or go back to the very home that is a threat to you, and things like that. I hear a lot of persons, and I'm quite disappointed in a lot of these organizations and, how do I put this? Certain government places, because we know that this has been an issue for several years and we're always talking about it. And I'm very, 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 very annoyed that every year we get orange, we find orange shirts and we print on things on orange shirts, and we make orange ribbons, and we go out, we put on our clothes, and we have this grand match because we like to match for everything. And then we have some wonderful matches and put on sometimes by government organizations or just non-governmental organizations, churches, and so on. But yet nobody seems to be coming up with a plan, an actual real life practical plan for us to have, let's say, a facility where women who are in threatening situations can simply go to this place. You can, and I thought about this for a while, and I don't know, Roleza, I'm going to say something here. You'll tell me if this sounds impossible. But speaking on that issue of the facility for women that are being abused specifically and have nowhere to go, is it impossible for the business places in the country where these very same women go and spend their money because you have a business in St. Vincent, be real, Vincentians are who support your business. So is it impossible for the business places, along with government institutions, along with the churches, because we have very many of those, is it impossible for you to come together and pool some money, get a piece of land? Can the government not provide a piece of land? And all of those persons, if one person doesn't have the money, you come together and you say, let's build this facility so that if a woman is in a threatening situation, she can be removed, she can leave that man, and she can go to this place. Is it also impossible for the service providers, being water and light? Can they not say, you know what, once we have the facility, we'll help you put something in place? So let's say Dianna was being abused and she comes to the police, and the police go over to probably mobilization, and then we take her to this facility. she's going to have things there. We have several furniture stores in the country. Would it be impossible for you to just say donate something so we could have a start? And the light and water companies to say, you know what, maybe for this month we won't let you pay any bills, or perhaps we'll just give you a little what's the word? The same thing that you do for government places. I can't remember the word right now. But for you, yeah.
Okay.
So for you to have that as well, is it impossible also for all the places in the country that employ people for you to take one? Let's say the facility has 10 women that you have taken out of the dangerous situation. Can business A not say, I will take this one woman and give her a walk? I mean, things looking a little tight for me right now, but at least if she doesn't have a lot of education or the certificates that are needed for the job, maybe I could just let her be my cleaner for now so that she can help herself and children if possible, so she can come out of this dangerous situation. And then business B takes another woman, and the business C takes another woman, and business D. Does that sound impossible, or am I really delusional?
It doesn't sound impossible. I do know that there were plans to have something similar put in place. I'm not sure if it has actually happened. I'll probably have to find an update, but it may not just be just one place either, right? And in considering that as well, it's not necessarily just the woman, but it might have to be the woman and her child or children, right? Because remember, a woman is not going to leave her child. She might be in an abusive situation, but she's not going to leave her child or children with the abusive partner. Mm-hmm. So there are many things that have to be considered in this context. But I think maybe one of the greater things is, well, I shouldn't say greater because I'm not trying to rank them, but it really goes back to the education, right? Mm-hmm. Women's abuse is not a woman's problem. Mm-hmm. It's a man problem. Right? Domestic violence or crimes against women. It starts with the men, right? Correct. And once we have that education out there that women are not the property of men, if they have that understanding, then I think that we will see a significant decrease in issues where domestic violence is prevalent, right? So persons out there, and it starts within the home. It starts within the home, one of the things, as much as, and I'm not victim blaming here, but, I think sometimes women also need to be reminded of their own strength. Right?
True. That is very
I think there are often times when we think that this situation that we are in currently is the only situation that we can find ourselves in, right? We don't always necessarily think of, okay, well, maybe if I take these baby steps, within the next year, within the next 5 years, that I can find myself in a bit of a better position, right? Yeah. There are times when we take on, there's actually all right, it gone straight out my head. There's actually a term for it, but you take on this whole thing where you sort of feel sorry for yourself and you think that, okay, whatever it is that you want to accomplish is so insurmountable that you don't even want to try. So sometimes it also does have to start with us recognizing our worth. Yes, something might be difficult. Yes, this man, it might be difficult to leave this particular man or to leave this particular household because, you are dependent on this man to help to bring in an income. But sometimes we just have to suck the salt. Suck the salt, even if it means you and your children moving out and sleeping in a 1-bedroom house on a mattress. Suck the salt, right? Don't put up with something that you know that is, and it's not even just you putting up with it physically, but it's what you're exposing your children to, and the way in which that they are interpreting these things. Is it right for a woman to accept being physically abused? Is this, as a male child, is this what it is that I am also going to do to my wife or my girlfriend because I saw my mother accepting it? All right. So women, sometimes you have to find your own strength. Okay. All right, so we have some comments there.
Oh, yeah. So somebody is saying, Jeff says, Happy Women's Day tomorrow. Thank you, Jeff. Well, just to go back to somebody up here had said only a man, this is coming from a man. He said, weak men are intimidated by a strong woman. He says, if you treat a woman well, she will jump through hoops of fire for you. That is absolutely correct. He said here, sometimes they feel trapped, which is what Roleza was just talking about there. All right. Somebody says here, I believe sometimes women themselves are the issue whereby a woman gets to a certain position and not put out a helping hand to other women below them, but become part of this system. I was gonna talk about this. Become part of this system and put them in that put them in the position, the idea that they worked for this position, so can you. From observation, they can be worse than their male counterparts. Absolutely 100% true. Very true.
Yeah, and that's the thing, when you get to a particular level, you don't even have to get to a particular level. It's helping each other up. Like for me, I always said it is so selfish. You should probably just keep things to yourself. Listen, if my life good and Dianna life good and somebody else life good, Shanika life good and Larissa life good, what does that mean for society? But if I'm only trying to make my life good, and I am putting down Dianna, I'm putting down my other coworkers, then what's the sense in that? So sometimes it is true. Yes, we may not want to always admit it, but women can actually be worse. I've heard men say sometimes that they don't want to work in an office where there's a lot of females because it's very, very catty kind of type of behavior that's happening. But yeah, you really and truly should try to help each other out. And, for my part as well, if you just can't get along with somebody, which is understandable, then don't pull them down. Just leave them alone, but don't pull them down. All right. So
gotta try that, man.
Yeah. All right. So that's just our thoughts. So, of course, we are expressing happy International Women's Day to all women in St. Vincent and the Grenadines within the region and within the international sphere. We are wishing all of you a happy day. And in walks Lisa. Happy International Day, Lisa. Women's Day. So, yes, to everybody. And you know what? Maybe ladies, whatever it is, maybe just tomorrow, just take that time for yourself. Whatever it is that you can choose to do, just to hold on, you put on your mic. Go ahead.
I was saying, good morning. I was saying, take the day off. Don't put me though, eh?
No, I know, but I will agree.
Day off from the house too, eh?
And even if it's just maybe just taking like a 6 hours or 4 hours to yourself to do whatever it is that you want. Celebrate yourself, celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate where it is that you're hoping to be in life. All right. So happy International Women's Day to every female out
Someone
there.
had left this comment earlier. They said, book yourself into a hotel and leave the phone at home. Let them pamper you. Take advantage of all the free offerings.
I concur. All right. So we are going to head on out as we will be shortly bringing to you today's Quote Desk.